Hello, and welcome back to Earworms. If this is your first time, welcome to Earworms. I'm your host, Dr. Lawrence W. Moore of the Wayfarer Project. If that's a mouthful, you can just call me Wayfarer, because I do tend to wander about a bit. Tonight, we're going to be looking at the invention of the radio. The magic that is radio communications, both for music, voice, all the wonderful things that can be sent over those radio waves. A beautiful portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. And this will necessitate a little bit of nostalgia, I believe, because I think my colleagues and I think my colleagues are just like me. They love themselves a bit of radio and so we'll be talking a lot of radio, and then in theme with that, we will be looking at the first episode, season 1, episode 1 of The Outer Limits, called The Galazy Being, which I don't want to do any spoilers here, but it involves bringing some life form from across the galaxy into existence using radio waves. So that'll be another beautiful exploration, a great series for sound design, special effects, all sorts of things. So we'll be sliding through it, looking at some of the imagery and also listening to some of the magical sounds from this beautiful episode. So without further ado, this is when I go into stealth mode so I can fit in with my colleagues here. And first, we're going to bring some royalty up on the stage here, Mr. Emperor J. Goodwin. And, I need to hit the right thing to do that. My goodness gracious me. You think one of these days I'd get good. Okay. So how you doing, Jay?
Radio, someone still loves you.
Yeah, we thought then that there was a lot of radio gaga, a lot of radio goo goo.
Yeah.
Now
video killed the radio star.
Yeah, well, now there's plenty of gaga goo goo, and it's all pre-recorded.
Yeah.
But in any case, now this gentleman, who you probably already know if you joined us before, is having a very special evening. He made his first ever appearance on the Mr. Brown Alliance. He is the host and founder of B-Sides, along with his lovely wife, Barbara. And without further ado, let's bring Mr. Adam Gray aboard. How you doing, sir?
He's away. He's probably still recovering from that session with Brownie. Sometimes that can get a little crazy.
Yeah, I know. Especially, Brown dropped a bomb on us afterwards in that he's not going to be there next week.
Hello.
Let's take some time off.
Oh, there we go. At a slight delay, we do have Adam Gray.
Yes, getting out of Brown's green room is like getting a divorce. So it takes a minute.
Well, yeah,
for that.
Well, you do want to hang out a bit, and I'm sure there was some discussion afterwards.
Absolutely.
Because Mr. Brown will not be broadcasting next weekend.
Mr. Brown is going to take a little mental health break, a little self-care time due to real life situations, and we hope to have him back soon.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, we all should. When things get a bit too much, just walk away for a bit.
There was a room full of people telling him to shut off Twitter. He's just he's a bit deep in it, so hopefully some fresh air will do him good.
No, I haven't been. I've just been posting announcements. I haven't been reading the feed at all, and so it's crazy season. So
a lot of stuff going on in the world.
Damn shame. Well, before Twitter, there was the radio.
I remember.
Yes, indeed. And in fact, since we're going to be talking about radio tonight, we do have some other segments that will be coming up. We do like our new segments that we've been sharing. But I feel the need to just kind of drop into this a bit, um, just to have a little bit of focus. We're going to be talking about the uh, the process leading up to the invention of the radio. And of course, radio can be a topic in the future. Like there were some classic stations, classic broadcasts, classic personalities, both in the music realm as well as talk. It truly is a beautiful thing. But just to narrow things down a bit, I decide what we're going to talk about, and especially since it's early on, still in the days of this stream, we're going to talk about the inventive process. In fact, I don't really like the question that I pose here at the in the first slide that's coming up. It is a controversial subject, but I'm going to throw it up here anyway. Who invented the radio? And we're going to see that this is kind of like a bad question.
Well, I mean, I think it's like a lot of things that when you say who invented, and it was like, well, a lot of people. There's a lot of piecing together of different things done by different people, and there's a few people that because again, it's all of the stuff is essentially out there. It's who's going to assemble these things and apply them in formation. And lo and behold, several people did it all around the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like asking who invented the light bulb. Really,
Yeah.
it's not one guy going, "Aha."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we seem to need those kind of like landmark people just to say, okay, one person did it, and then it's a fight over other contributors and everything.
Well, especially if you've been forced through the American education system, they have a dark need to simplify every fact. So it's Marconi. Everyone knows this,
Well, most of history is like the great man theory, right? It was just one person. It was like, well, yeah, and the times and the zeitgeist and all the other contributions and the shoulders they stood on.
Well, if you're going to have a multiple choice exam, you need to have like a list of names there, and maybe none of the above there,
or all of the above and more.
Well, who discovered America? Well, it's probably the million people that were living here.
Yeah.
Well, their ancestors at least.
Just discovered for whom?
Yeah.
The problem is they didn't send people back and said, "Hey, we're here."
Well, anyway, let's get into this a little bit. And it was a fascinating little week of discovery that I did. And so we're going to go forward here with one of the names that gets mentioned a lot. And that would be Mr. Nikola Tesla, a Serbian immigrant who was also a big name in many things electrical. And is often credited now as the true inventor of the radio. And I would say, let's hold off on trying to declare one clear winner or something like that. It's true that he had many innovations that were kind of necessary. But we're going to look at a bullet point list coming up here. In fact, maybe I'll put that on screen now. That shows some of his innovations, and maybe that'll help people kind of piece together a little bit of what the big picture is. Radio waves are part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and basically it's a region of frequencies within the electromagnetic spectrum. This spectrum is also shared by very high frequency vibrations that are in the range called X-rays. There's gamma rays. There's visible light. There's ultraviolet that's a little higher frequency than what's visible to us. There's infrared that's a lower frequency than what's visible to us. And you get slow enough. Oh, microwaves are in there too. Good for cooking. Well, not good for cooking.
It's debatable.
Maybe convenient for cooking. But and then below that, we have like radio waves. And basically, when you are listening to the radio, your antenna is picking up an electromagnetic field and frequencies that are vibrating at just the proper rates to be picked up by the antenna. And since Tesla was deeply involved in electricity, he found at one point that, and electricity is also part of the electromagnetic spectrum. There, you're actually, carrying, current, which basically depends on like chains of electrons passing along this current in order to provide power. In the case we're talking about here, we're talking about fields where it's not really a chain of electrons, but fields that are being picked up. And he found that basically you could use the radio wave. Well, I don't think they called it that then, but a certain frequency range in the electromagnetic spectrum to carry information. A lot of what he was trying to do was to send power over great distances, and he is
Mm-hmm.
known for developing alternating current, AC power,
Mm-hmm.
which did just that. Direct current is not as useful for carrying power over great distances. And so, in order to have a power grid and so forth, you need something like alternating current to do that. But he also did some dabblings with sending power through the air, which I don't know.
It's a pretty inefficient way to distribute power, as anybody with a Qi charger for their phone will find out, versus plugging it in directly.
Yeah, a little bit of signal loss.
Yeah, yeah, and oh, by the way, increases with the square of the distance.
Yeah, because air would have what we would call high resistance. In other
Yeah.
words, it doesn't want you to do that. In other words, and so, and plus, I mean, you basically have to produce so much power to be able to send it over those distances through the air that it's really kind of wasteful.
Yeah,
Um,
as a stage electrician, we frequently refer to an air gap as to why something is not functioning correctly, and
Yes.
somebody pulled the plug.
yep. And in Earworms episode 1, if you want to go back to that one, it was a good one. We did take a little look at the Tesla coils and it kind of related to what was being done with the singing arc lamps at the time, early electronic instrument novelties, I would say, in basically using current leaping across air as a speaker. And I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff about it. It's just at some point, it all comes down to practicalities. So there we go. Tesla coils and resonance. Basically, electrical power can be used to create resonant frequencies where basically a transmitter at one end um, would be able to communicate with a receiver at another end over the air. So using radio waves is definitely something that can be done and more practical than sending power over the air. Um, and basically, you would just we're going to see, because we have a video coming up soon to kind of like highlight this a little bit more. At first, it was done with sparks, and then as innovations became better and better, finally, you had transistor radios where you could create this resonance much more efficiently. But he was basically also credited with this concept of wireless technology. Um, and because that was the field he was working in, and he did have a number of patents in it, and I can't keep track of which patents were sold to J.P. Morgan and which ones were sold to George Westinghouse, and he did a lot of research where he needed to fund that research by selling off his patents, and that's where he becomes kind of like kind of an underdog, so to speak, at least in the financial success aspect of invention. Did you guys want to say anything more about that? Or if not, I'll just
I mean,
keep on going.
it's a logical progression that we realize that we have electromagnetic waves that happen whenever you flow a current. So even when you're dumping power through your power lines, you're still actually broadcasting, electromagnetic waves. There's a reason that you get a 60 hertz hum, in speakers and things like that if they're not properly isolated and grounded. The and even so his experiments with I'm gonna transmit power. Even when we listen to radio, they're still transmitting power. There's a reason that you can hear it. It's just a very small amount.
Yeah. And then I have. Go ahead.
The concept of I love the idea of sending power through the air, which is very democratic. A lot of bigwigs, capitalists would find that sort of repulsive to their stock holdings, but I love the concept of it, and it's very very retro science fiction to look back at that idea.
Well, careful what you wish for, because then some of the same people decide to start owning air.
Yes, they do.
They've tried.
And they do. Behold the FCC and and certain electromagnetic
airwaves
licenses. But the thing is that even the idea of I'm going to transmit power wirelessly, the reason that that's attractive is that Westinghouse and Edison were really fighting over who could run the power lines to houses. Well, Tesla can skip that infrastructure expense, but the receiver is where he would make the money. So yeah, it's not the power. Behold, it just shows up. Well, I mean, yeah, and it passes right through you unless you can actually turn it into something useful, which is where he was going to make his money.
But it cuts out an incredibly complicated infrastructure that is prone to failure, and the power grid is just this monstrous undertaking that it's built in small pieces, but it's
right.
a bit of a mess.
As is demonstrated, Tesla's wrong, deadly wrong about his ideas that you simply can't do it at any kind of. By the way, if you want to bump it up to the levels to transmit useful power, you're microwaving everybody. And they generally frown on that kind of thing.
Well, and actually, a lot of documentaries kind of overstated the case, I found, because Tesla himself did not, at least clearly state that he wanted to transmit power over the air for the purpose of making it free for everybody. Like, he didn't actually put those words together. People kind of like made some jumps and stuff to say that. But in general, there's also power production. It doesn't matter whether it's combustibles or if you're going to build a solar panel. It takes power to build one, and then it takes resources and everything to make one. I think, but at the same time, I don't think anybody's really so happy about tycoons, owning everything.
That's the word I was looking for, tycoon.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't necessarily like the rulers of the monopoly board, but, definitely our power grid.
You're trading one for another.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to pay George Westinghouse. Instead, I have to pay Nikola Tesla for my special receiver.
Privatization is the mistake. Publicly owned utilities and infrastructures seem to be a lot better for the consumers.
That's certainly been working out well in California.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Remember, I think of it this way: government's just another big business, except that it's very horizontal.
It has the ability to shoot you.
There's a lot of horizontal integration going on there. But anyway, let us move on to more wonderful things like these years here. 1885 is when Tesla attempted to do some wireless communication, and it failed because of a fire.
You say that's a bad thing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way to communicate wirelessly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Smoke signals.
Yeah.
But so that didn't pan out. But then he did succeed in 1893, but that was mostly like in a lecture hall, short distance.
Right.
And that's where the other guy, Mr. Macaroni.
I love his grill.
Guglielmo Marconi.
Yeah, and I was like really double checking that spelling because because that's a tough one. But yeah, also probably traditionally the name most associated with invention of the radio. But once again, he did not do it alone. And if we're talking about radio as in the device called a radio, of course, there's so many components to go into that that you really can't credit one person.
Right.
But you can't even really credit him with so much the wireless technology either. It it was a number of achievements, and we're going to be seeing a video coming up next after my bullet point list about that. And at this point, they weren't even really thinking what we call radio. It was about sending telegraph signals wirelessly.
Yep.
In Earworms 1, we talked about the telegraph when we looked at the musical telegraph that was invented by Elisha Gray. Another patent conflict there between him and Alexander Graham Bell. Everybody wanted a patent.
Well, it came in
and
handy.
each other's patents.
But anyway, so telegraph communications were up and running for a while now, a number of decades, and the problem with it is, you're limited to what you could carry over a cable. So there were some bandwidth issues. A number of innovations allowed for multiple signals at the same time, and Elisha Gray had a lot to do with that. But one area that we're going to see shortly that was not helped at all by the telegraph was communication at sea, which was very important, with transferring goods from one place to another. Also important in naval endeavors, military endeavors, and basically, obviously, you can have a cable being dragged around by a boat. There was a transatlantic cable by I think it was, I don't know the exact year, but definitely by the time Marconi started working in the 1880s and 1890s, there was a transatlantic telegraph cable. But, that didn't help ships very much. It was still land-to-land communication.
Yeah, if your ship was able to access the transatlantic cable, things had gone very wrong for you and your ship.
You may have screwed up.
Yes. You had invented the submarine.
And I don't really like the idea of laying a cable down there at the bottom of the ocean. There's all sorts of leviathans and giant squids and
It's always kind of bothered me too. Like, I realize the ocean is enormous, but just no one's going to clean that up once it's obsolete. It's going to be down there forever.
yeah, and all those jellyfish rubbing themselves up against it and stuff. It'd get icky.
That was actually a problem with a lot of the early ones. Is the electrical signals? They would pick up the EMF coming off of the cables, and would the cables would get severed because things like to get bitey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and the bioluminescent creatures down there. Although I guess that probably didn't have much interference.
Yeah, they're not
But
worried
anyway,
about
all right. So we're going to look at his bullet list here, and what we have here is that he made wireless technology practical, and I think that's an important way of looking at it. It started off with 2 miles of communications in 1895. In other words, it was like Tesla may have done some communications first, but Marconi was able to do longer distances soon after. And then the transatlantic communication was first achieved in 1901 wirelessly. So that is probably the landmark that sealed it for him.
Yeah, and think about that
because
scaling.
that's practical.
I mean, you're looking at 500 plus times the distance in
It's
6 years.
exponential, yeah.
Yeah.
In addition to that, as he continued working, he improved antennae. and then tuning between a transmitter and the receiver, because tuning was necessary for the receiver to pick up what the transmitter was sending. They needed to be in resonance with one another, which meant some tuning so that the receiver is listening to the right frequency band
Yeah.
and wasn't drifting off of it so that it
Yeah,
could
because
receive
of
it.
the atmospheric conditions changing, you have a strange drift. Well,
Yep. And the coherer was something, and the way I read it, it seemed like that was one thing that he did. Well, no, it wasn't invented. It was basically perfecting, or at least improving, the coherer to select frequencies. I guess that's what we would call a radio dial these days. Or we don't have dials anymore. It's push button.
I remember
Oh,
dials.
man. Man, that's so disappointing. I mean, you could zero in on things with a good dial.
Yes, you could.
Yeah, in the way that you can't now because it's digital.
And then demonstrated the usefulness of shortwave, which is something that came a little later, but this really expanded the reach of being able to pick up frequencies at a distance, basically a different band of frequencies where you could pick up both AM and FM from a distance because it was being reflected off of the ionosphere. And with some nice rainy weather, you could, pick up broadcasts from other countries. And in fact, I still have a shortwave radio that I like to play with now and then. Although, unfortunately, the number of stations out there have become less and less.
Yeah,
Although
it's probably dropped off pretty badly.
yeah. I think the shortwave, I think I misspoke there. I think shortwave was primarily picking up AM.
Yeah, it's AM,
Yeah.
and yeah, the number of shortwave stations are probably low double digits now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like really hard to find. We had a hurricane 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, even just trying to find AM was a little bit difficult. Oh, well, anyway, we are going to watch a video now.
Oh,
Hooray.
And whoops, we're going to get to him next. There is a dark horse in this, but he's going to be coming afterward. There is another name involved. And what I need to do is do a proper drag and drop here so that we can watch the video that we want to see. I don't think we want to see Adam getting taken in by the YouTube police.
What did I do now?
we do have a video of that. Maybe we'll show that later.
yeah, we can help you with drag and fire, but drag and drop we're gonna not be so helpful on.
Okay, so now let me go back here to StreamYard. Makes you jump through a bunch of hoops. Here we go. And then you need to be in the right tab to use the shortcuts. And here we go. All right, so we're going to begin with ships, because remember, one of the main necessities that they had at the time was communicating with boats. And that looks like rather polluted waters there.
Oh, it's a message in a bottle.
Yeah. Sting.
This was the only way a ship in distress could communicate before Marconi came on the scene in the late 19th century. Deep silence reigned on the airwaves. The only way to summon urgent assistance was by cable, but the cable was on the seabed, physically connected to the telegraph exchanges. Messages were transmitted by Morse code. In Morse, each letter is represented by a combination of dots and dashes, long and short electrical impulses. But within a few years, cable had a serious rival. The ancient university city of Bologna in Italy likes to boast of her highly charged atmosphere, just the place for inventors like Marconi, her most famous son. Even today, radio operators are known in Italy as Marconisti. From an early age, Marconi was fascinated by electricity. Working with leading researchers, he carefully built up the knowledge he needed for his inventions. He could never have done this with a conventional college education. His Irish mother brought her children up to speak English as well as Italian, and they were a musical family too. Guglielmo played the piano. While on holiday at the age of 20, he read an article on the experiments carried out by the German physicist Heinrich Hertz. This gave him a clear goal to aim at: the transmission of messages by means of electromagnetic waves. A spark jumps across the gap between two live wires. It emits electromagnetic radiation. This causes a second spark in the receiver. The radiation spreads out in all directions, like light waves. This phenomenon was at the heart of Hertz's research. At the same time, Alexander Popov in Russia was performing experiments on atmospheric electricity. He developed the rod antenna for use in his thunderstorm warning device. In France, Edouard Branly invented the coherer, a more efficient form of receiver. It consists of iron filings in a tube. They cohere when a signal is received, thus closing an electrical circuit. Marconi installed a tapper in this device to shake the filings apart again, preparing them for the next signal.
So I found all this like really fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like iron filings, which later were quite useful in analog tape, and just having like this, it looked like a glass tube where the iron filings are, and they cohere to one another, and just the electrical field basically makes them cohere, and then you need to tap them apart again, and then they cohere again, and that's how you create these sparks. I mean,
Yeah, you're magnetizing the iron filings. You know, that's what electromagnetic fields do. Hence the magnetic in them.
And I'd just like to point out that hanging on a glass tube with a steel hammer will never be obsolete.
No, it always works. You can't. There's nothing you can't solve with a hammer.
No points of failure there.
But again, it's not one person that just the radio springs fully formed from his forehead. It's all of these little things are happening, and they all have to happen together. And if you don't, Marconi could have been born 20 years, or 30 years earlier, and he is never the one that creates radio. Somebody else would.
Yep.
With his goal now clear, Marconi worked like a man possessed at the top of his parents' villa.
Nice villa.
Yeah, I was just going to
His father thought it all a lot of nonsense, a waste of time. But his mother believed in him and even brought his meals to the laboratory. After 2 years, he managed to get an electric bell to ring from a distance of 9 meters, and using a metal sheet antenna, succeeded in transmitting Morse code signals. The metal sheet was soon replaced by a wire antenna, which he set up in the garden. This enabled him to transmit across greater distances using longer wavelengths. When he discovered the principle of grounding or earthing, the range jumped to several hundred meters at a stroke. Now, for the first time, he tried to transmit beyond the range of visibility. His brother took a rifle. He was to fire it if he received the signal. An assistant carried the receiver. Off they went, 2.5 kilometers. On the table was his well-tried equipment: the Morse key, the balls for the spark gap, the induction coil, the battery. He was the first to use the same antenna for both transmission and reception. He tapped out 3 short impulses with the Morse key. They caused 3 sparks to jump, producing the electromagnetic waves.
Incredibile! Funziona! Mamma mia!
You're in no way stereotyping with this.
It's not radio, it's DiGiorno.
Yes. Chef Boyardee.
Well, Yeah, I was thinking right there. I think this was made by English-speaking people.
No, they actually, as part of that radio experiment, they actually recorded what he said, and so this is absolutely
right.
accurate.
All righty. So we're going to go a little further, but pretty soon we'll stop because I think we'll basically get the point about, I mean, just how mechanical all this was.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they shot Marconi.
That's how he found out it worked.
Unfortunately, it didn't help him because he was shot dead by his brother in that warning shot.
And Mama looks proud.
The proud result, his signals went through forests, walls, fog, night, and over mountains and across seas. The electric current causes the electrons in the antenna to vibrate. They generate the radio wave. But in Marconi's early days, no one knew about electrons. Italy showed little interest in the invention, so Marconi went to Britain. With its enormous navy, Britain might be able to make good use of wireless transmission, he thought. The post office engineers, though skeptical, gave him support. Using antennas suspended from flying kites, Marconi soon achieved a range of 15 kilometers over water and sent the first wireless telegrams. The King of Italy suddenly woke up and sent for the 24-year-old King of the Airwaves. A number of Italian warships were equipped with his apparatus. The frequency spectrum was still very broad, but it was adequate for summoning assistance, for example. Word spread that ships with Marconi equipment were safer.
Going to work for the Titanic. Oh wait.
The most urgent problem was to...
Well, actually, one thing that happened is like because there was like 700 survivors, those 700 probably would not have survived if it wasn't for the wireless technology.
You know, the problem is it was the short distance one because I think they were using the spark gap. I don't think they had the upgraded Marconi.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what year the Titanic was. It's like 1912. I know it's like,
Or no, it's pre World War One. So yeah, 1912 sounds right. And it's early teens.
yeah, I'm trying to remember Downton Abbey.
Said no one ever.
find a way of filtering the actual message out of a jumble of waves. Steady improvements in the receivers, allowing accurate tuning, enabled transmitters and receivers to function more reliably. Alongside the equipment, Marconi also hired out the radio operator, an entirely new trade. He imposed one condition. Messages could only be sent to his stations, an effective monopoly.
There we go.
Oh, what are you
There
talking
we
about? It's
go.
wireless, so you can't have any kind of monopoly.
Oh, well, maybe he was one of the first tycoons.
No, there have been plenty before that.
Yeah, and they had bigger hats.
Yes.
Altogether, Marconi held 800 wireless telegraphy patents.
Yeah, I don't think he mined that copper himself.
No.
Radio was first used in crime detection when wife murderer Dr. Crippen was arrested on a steamer on his way to America. The wireless signal had got there first. When the Titanic sank, 700 passengers owed their lives to the SOS message broadcast by the ship's radio operator. After this disaster, emergency frequencies were agreed worldwide.
Was that from, what's his name? That wasn't the James Cameron version, I don't think.
No.
I missed it.
Cartoonists showed Marconi bartering for souls with King Neptune. 11 years earlier, Marconi had secretly prepared his attempt to bridge the Atlantic. At Poldhu, on the coast of southwest England, he built the biggest transmitting station yet seen. It took a year to complete, but he told no one what he planned. The antennas were damaged by winter storms, but at 12:30 one December day in 1901, he reported the weak reception of signals from 3,200 kilometers across the Atlantic.
Alle 12:30, ecco giungere al mio orecchio debolmente i segnali che venivano lanciati nello spazio dalla stazione di Polju sull'altra sponda dell'oceano.
His diary listed only the frequencies and, hardly legible, the times of reception. The sober record of a sensational feat by which he proved those scientists wrong who maintained that the radio waves would go off into space in a straight line. But long waves, with a wavelength of between 1,000 and 10,000 meters, go no higher than the ionosphere. The Earth's conductivity means they follow the curvature of the globe. A few years earlier...
Okay, I think we're going to stop it right there because I feel we're at the point for a future episode of Earworms where we can talk about applying some of the telephone technology to this wireless technology that allowed us to transmit more complex sound over the airwaves. But I don't want our audience to fall completely asleep here.
I'm awake.
It's
Where's
the
the fun in
Sunday
that?
night. So, yeah. But, well, we were talking earlier about Friday night, I think. Well, touched on it a little bit. How did things go? Friday night, if for anyone that wasn't there, B-Sides got rated again Friday night.
Again. Yes.
And this time you didn't start up again, so it was all right. But
We avoided the strike because we've learned our lesson on forging ahead. So yeah.
But I did notice that they did take you in for some questioning, though.
Well, again, at the risk of putting everyone to sleep, it's been a real interesting couple of days since that happened. So basically, it goes like this. Every week we do a show where we show something that is public domain or doesn't have a clear copyright claim on it. And we showed a Japanese film called Atragon, which I had copyright cleared in private by uploading it on my YouTube channel. And no claims came in. And a friend of ours, a friend of the channel, also has had that movie up for a couple of weeks, and I checked in with him, and he said, no flags and nothing, no warnings. But a funny thing that happens on YouTube when you stream something as opposed to just publishing something, suddenly we were knocked off the air, and it turned out that we had something like 10 chunks of the feature film were claimed for copyright by a Japanese name that I cannot read. And we continued the stream on Rumble and finished it. But since then, I have re-uploaded the stream as a video and got a whole nother round of copyright claims on it from different people. And it's just baffling to me. It's just the rules aren't explained to you, and the rules seem to continuously change on YouTube. So even if you checked something, no matter how far in advance, just the act of streaming can change it, can change the copyrights on it, or just leaving it in place for a week, a month, or whatever, without even making it public, can change.
Well, we do have footage of you being taken in for questioning here.
Oh, yes, this is embarrassing.
Just a moment, you just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car.
I mean, you didn't get your chance to speak.
I didn't get to finish my meal.
Under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Yep. And you've been speaking about democracy a lot tonight. And the airwaves.
Yes, and
Have a look
monopolies.
at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis!
Oh, my goodness. YouTube.
Well, I'd like to say this is the first time that Adam has ever said that. Normally he welcomes that kind of thing.
I've only said it
This
to
is the bloke
Mr.
who got me
Brown.
on the penis before.
Get some cups.
Why did you do this to me?
Hop in the car. Get some cups.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
Well, Friday night was actually a succulent Japanese meal.
It was
Slight
succulent
difference.
until we were interrupted in our dining
Yes, yes.
experience. Yes.
Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well.
YouTube has judo as part of it, training for all of its
Yes, that's
operatives.
basically their customer service department is
Yes.
well versed in the martial arts.
Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? How dare get your hands off there. Ta-ta, and farewell.
It wasn't limp. It wasn't limp.
Well, I think it's the first time it's ever happened to
Yep.
Adam, you know.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing our difficulties on YouTube with the audience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for everyone
anyone-
that's interested, we do have B-roll stage in the description, both the Rumble and YouTube channels. And I think your strategy from now on is to stream live on Rumble and then maybe upload to YouTube.
That's the MO from here on out. We have our official warning. You get a warning on copyright that never goes away, but then you get 3 strikes, and our first strike is 90 days to expire, and we don't want a second, because at that point I'll just make the whole channel private rather than lose what we built up for 4 years.
Yeah.
But, if you're watching us on YouTube and you see the warning that we've been knocked off, you know that it's a great time to open a Rumble account. So we have had not a single issue on Rumble showing the exact same material.
Yeah, and in fact, we do stream Earworms live on Rumble, kind of. Tonight, for some reason, my stream, the loop, the placeholder loop didn't appear on my page for some reason. So I guess anytime that doesn't work out, I'm going to, just upload it afterwards. So
Yeah, the Rumble's a little bit glitchy. It can do some interesting things, especially if you're not paying attention to it. It can freeze up and things like that. But I will say, in terms of freedom of speech and content, they've been very, very kind to us.
And monetization.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yes. Did I forget to mention the money?
Yes, the money part.
Yes, we're actually making money now, which is really refreshing after 4 years of being told no on YouTube. So
awesome beans.
yeah.
Well, now we are going to go along with our radio theme. And in the second half of our streams, we do like to go into a little bit of nostalgia when it comes to film and television. Great
Jay, it's your favorite.
achievements.
Oh. Why'd you say that name?
We are going to look at The Outer Limits. The first episode, there were only 2 seasons of the program. And season 1, episode 1, called The Galazy Being, centers around a radio station and a bit of a tinkerer in his workshop who kind of ran the radio station, and the beautiful things he found in outer space. So,
I want
without
everybody to
further
remain
ado,
calm, because we control the horizontal and the
Yes,
vertical.
and
So this show,
and
I was terrified by the Twilight Zone when I was watching it as a child, but this show is actually a show that I would not watch as a kid because it was that much more disturbing, at least the ones that I had seen. So I would turn the TV off for Outer Limits when I was a kid.
yes, and Mike Gorley is a fan of both seasons, and I'm basically watching them now. So, yeah, and I really enjoyed this episode. There was a lot of deep stuff said in the episode, and you could see that they really wanted to show the fact that, hey, guess what? We have effects. And this is basically how it begins. You see imposed effects over the radio tower, a bit of sine wavy, interlaced sine waves.
Behold our oscilloscope.
And then we go.
It's a
this is
Euro
how it
rack.
begins. This is before the actual opening credits and the theme. So this is what the people would first see when watching the episode. They see the radio tower, say, "Oh, this must be a radio station," and then they see this gentleman here, yeah, with his Euro rack and
I believe this is
console
where they
there.
check copyrights. This is the booth.
Yes,
where-
yes, I believe this is it. And
Mm-hmm. They scan for all the things coming in there.
They see if you're on the
And-
naughty list, and if you are, they'll just throw things at random at your channel.
And they zoom in on the monitor there, and this is where I got the background from. And I see a number 1 there.
indeed,
Which
apparently they
means,
zoom in on a musical interlude.
Hooray!
yes. And so we are going to play the audio from this, and each time I need to turn up the volume here. And let's see here. Number 1. So basically, there is no dialogue at the beginning. We just see the gentleman there working in his station. We see these sine waves and other visual effects on the monitor, and we hear these sounds that are really quite intriguing. And the score comes in at the end. So this is what the people would have seen first.
And what were we hearing? Was that a Troutonium?
I wasn't able to find out.
Oh,
But I have a feeling it was really just probably made circuitry just for this, because you don't really hear pitch, maybe a little filtered noise, but it really sounded like, hums from electromagnetic interference and everything, because that's what they were going for in the overall effect. So, yeah, Troutonium would be more pitch bass, I think. So, I don't know, but we could always check on it on Brave Search here. Let's see. What
fire up the Dr. Seuss search
instruments
engine.
were used in the Outer Limits Season 01, Episode 01. And we're going to check it with, this is Google. That means we might actually get a correct response. I don't know.
Maybe someone will show up at your door. You never know.
Yeah.
No, it's just general things about early 60s TV shows. Okay, so I'm going to do something here with Brave Search, because we have nothing better to do than...
Oh, I can't wait to see what it makes up.
I didn't select AI response, so I didn't get one. Usually you get one no matter what.
It says here that Jennifer Lawrence was the first to control the horizontal.
Yes, that's my understanding. Yeah,
Oh,
it was very stunning.
based on the... Well, it's not even getting the episode name right.
Who could have anticipated this?
Season 1 episode, I will focus on Sand King.
That's like the Galazy Being.
Abe Froman, the Sand
Abe
King of
Froman,
Chicago.
Sand King of Chicago.
All right, so let's just say it's a mystery. And folks are welcome to leave comments if you know. But I think it was probably kind of like Forbidden Planet, where it was made circuitry. Yeah. But in any case, we proceed. And there we go. There's our title. Lovely font. And yes, this is where we get the classic introduction
Do not adjust your
narration.
set.
Yep, don't adjust your set. We control the horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
We control the vertical. We also control, I forget what was said, but it's like, You may see some scrolling or stuff like that.
I do
We can-
love an Indian head test pattern.
Yes.
We make things blurry, and we make things focused. That was a good moonshot right there.
Not bad.
Man. 63. That's before the moon landing, so I'm
Oh, yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
We had pretty good
Pre-Apollo.
telescope photography at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was about to start a conspiracy there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
The Galazy Being.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it stars Lee Phillips and Jacqueline Scott. Now, we are going to see this first segment of slides here, and then we will take a foray into exploring whether some photos of Lee Phillips and Jacqueline Scott are the real McCoy or if they are AI generated. But I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a, what do you call that? I don't know, a little bit of help there. It'd be nice if you kind of like saw the actors first.
Chat, get ready to count fingers. Oh, and
Yeah.
Clip Robertson.
Yep, special guest star.
Mm-hmm.
And it was produced by, I just like to take the screenshot so I don't have to type up the credits.
Well, that could be useful.
Mm-hmm. And then there we go. We start off with, we'll find out later that this is the brother. This guy's name is Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
And he's a DJ at the radio station. The radio station is KXKVI in Las Feliz.
Is that a number I see in the corner?
Yes, it is. Now, is Las Feliz, is that a real place in California?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Does it mean the Feelies?
Yes, it means the Feelies, yes.
Okay.
KXKVI is located on Highway 601, just 6 miles south of Cotterfield, where the supermarkets meet the people, serving all of Los Feliz County in sunny southern Cal. KXKVI is brought to you, good people, at 1820-1820 on your radio dial. Keep listening now for your top 10 tunes brought to you by your boy, Buddy. Number 6, Come Rock With Me, an up and swinging vocal offering by the Highlifers. KXKVI is located on Highway
Okay, and
601.
there's the loop.
6 miles.
Sorry, folks. StreamYard just loops automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there we go. I thought it'd be nice to hear a little bit of radio gaga there.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the Bob Barker microphone.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome.
Sure to have your
Streamlined.
pets spayed or neutered.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then we get Jacqueline Scott, who is the actress who plays Carol Maxwell, who is the wife of the guy in the workshop, basically, the guy under the antenna. I forget his first name as the character. I know
Let's
it's
call him
Maxwell.
Sparky.
Yes.
Yeah, Sparky Maxwell. And here's Buddy Maxwell, his brother. And so they got a nice little cottage operation. I like the doors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Circular windows like that. They don't make them like that anymore.
Well, they
But-
do, but you're usually under a 24-hour observation. When
And so we got some pics of them there. They're basically noticing there's a bit of a power drain. And Buddy's concerned about it because the sponsors are expecting them to have a 100-mile radius reach. The advertisers don't like it if you go below that. But there's a bit of a power drain. And Buddy's concerned, and he decides. You get the feeling that, the guy under the antenna has something to do with it.
Minox.
And-
yeah, it's Minox probably.
Chewing on the power cables again.
Yep, they do that.
I have no idea what that is.
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes
Oh, that's right. Okay. Sorry. It's one of the side characters I didn't remember. Okay.
Yeah, they're little flying pancake things like that.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah,
Star
yeah.
Trek.
I know when they went out in the
When they're
belly
in the
of the
asteroid
beast.
and the
Yeah.
in the belly of the beast. Yep.
All right. So anyway, great trivia here. So yeah, Buddy's concerned, and so is Carol. She's like, but I've talked to him before about this, and he doesn't seem all that interested. But I don't know. I was taking a lot of slides here because I don't know. There's just something.
Something about Carol, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That a new haircut, Carol?
It
You
was hard
waxed
to
your
tell.
mustache.
It was hard to tell if they were going for something futuristic or not.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, so she decides we got to go out here and check out what Sparky's doing. And I love the monitor behind them, there. And I tried to
an
get
aquarium.
Yeah, it looks like they're just projecting onto an aquarium of some sort.
Yeah, but it looked good.
Yeah, it looks great.
Well, as we'll see later, it needed to be something that actually had a three-dimensional space in it.
It's got to have volume.
Yep.
I love the loop of wires just going in and out there underneath the screen.
Oh, I've done that once or twice.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is she calls over to him, and he's like, you got to come here. Check this out. And so she's like, all right, I guess I got to head over and check it out. And, she heads out, tells Buddy she's going to see what's going on. KXKVI. And I don't know. She just kind of I think does a little hinting towards the viewers because she kind of looks up.
Yeah, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Is the antenna still there?
Yeah.
Well, I think she was just checking to see if the antenna was fully erect.
Ah, yes.
Mm. Oh.
Look at that, folks.
Common People is coming in hot again. Our chief shareholder.
Indeed.
Our
£10. That's a real money.
only shareholder, actually.
He's going to be taking over the board pretty soon.
He's got to go behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
Oh, this is intriguing.
It does.
Azerbaijan.
Got to find
Sorry.
his old dad who went MIA while searching for rare shampoo that cures hedgehog dandruff. Wish me like, well,
Godspeed.
we do wish you luck, common people, and hopefully you can also bring back that shampoo. I know we've all been waiting for it.
Well, it is that time of the evening over across the pond.
Hedgehog
when,
shampoo?
Well, it's time to go to bed, and that's when people think about their dandruff. And apparently the cure is in Azerbaijan.
Well, we should all bathe our hedgehogs regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure we pat them dry.
And he chose this moment probably because there's
something on screen.
Yeah, there may have been something that he wanted to stop and look at for just a bit.
I don't think she suffers any pain when she sits down.
No.
I'm suffering pain watching her walk away.
Well, that's a different kind of yes. Baby, come back.
And there we go. Let's just put a lot of patch cables together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really shouldn't have got him that Radio Shack 150-in-1 electronics kit for Christmas.
Oh, man, I remember those.
I had one.
Well.
So anyway, yeah, he's there at the board. Great lighting. And she comes in from the shadows. Well, anyway, good night, common people. I hope everything goes well.
Thank you, Common.
Thank you very much, as always. And
send us a radio telegraph if things go pear-shaped.
And then, he this is what he called her over for. Look at this waveform I got here. And he actually says he gave it three-dimensionality, which for me in sound, that would be like the third dimension would be time in that case, or if you're doing
multiple
a frequency spectrum. Yeah. But here it's more of like, looks cool, looks magical.
It's the rule of cool, I believe.
Yeah.
Things can happen. And she's not really impressed by it. And you can see that.
That is not the look of excitement.
No, most of the things I build in the garage don't impress women at all.
Yeah, that's very much the look that I get when my wife comes into the shop.
And yeah, he's scanning. And it is basically a hard sell. I mean, she does tell him that, you're draining too much power. We're going to have a problem with our sponsors. Don't you care about your family? Don't you care about me? We kind of need this for a living. And that, don't be fooled. That is not a smile of joy.
Oh, no.
That's
There's
more
mockery in that.
That's yeah.
Condescension, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what you're doing. And he's like, well, I gave it dimensionality, whatever.
I mean, she might take him more seriously if he wasn't dressed up like Wally from Leave It to Beaver. It's
Oh gosh,
Maybe.
Jay.
oh golly.
Yeah, she's done it with this guy. She's definitely done with this guy. No more sandwiches coming out to the control booth there.
No.
But she's trying to reason with him, though. She's giving him another shot. But
He's going to ground him from the treehouse if he's not careful.
But this is just, too important, he says. This is groundbreaking. And he talks about some of the scientists, like I think he even mentioned Einstein and all these people that, these little guys that found great things. And she's like, yeah, but you're not one of them.
Oh, Amelia, we're talking thousands of years after the original Karen.
Jay was there.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason we stuck her in that pyramid.
Now she's getting to the point where, like, all right, I think I've had enough of this. But, he goes back to scanning and gives him some looks, and we look at the waveform, and I don't know. The actual scene itself, it's not doing its justice. I was just like taking snapshot after snapshot because the lighting was cool and the acting was cool. The facial expressions was, really expressed how the people felt. And then you also had all these electronics and waveforms in the background. I got a little too snap happy, I guess.
I'm enjoying it.
She's not.
And she is not.
Oh, and that's the sine wave we see outside now and then, too.
Oh, it's a
makes
Chinese
an
finger trap.
appearance. It makes an appearance. And that is our first set of slides, which means now that you've been exposed to some of these actors here, it is time for one of our magical segments.
Count the fingers with earworms.
Count the figures.
Yes.
All right. Let me see here. I'm looking for it. The reliable AI. I've selected it. Now, how do I put it up?
Well,
Why do I? What?
It's a problem we all run into at a certain age.
Why do I not get better at this? All right, here we go.
hey.
Starring Inga in her Datsun. The reliable AI, as we have been finding, is animal intelligence. And our two animals are now going to look at whether or not we are about to behold AI imagery or photography. Is this a real alien or an AI alien?
Well, the answer is in the phrasing of that question.
Well, reality is subjective. Basically, is this a real fictional alien?
A real
Or is-
fictional alien. Okay.
Real fictional alien.
Really, really fictional.
I think this is real. I think this is from the episode.
And that is probably because you know that if I were to try and ask AI for
It would give you far more convincing results, and also this is a negative, so I already...
Well, if I was to ask AI, and I did, for the Galazy Being, I just got a bunch of galaxies.
Yeah.
It had no idea
I
what a
think that's
Galazy Being is.
Z3PO's old dad.
It could be.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to see a lot of him coming up.
Oh, boy.
Now,
Now.
this is an L. Ron Hubbard book cover.
Yeah.
Real light being or AI light being?
That's going to be an AI Thetan, I think.
Yeah, I think whoever wrote this book has been on Art Bell a number of times. I'm going to say, oh, heck, it's a real light being.
Well, this was not created by any illustrator other than Stable Diffusion.
Oh, boo.
And I think you could probably tell that because there's an extra set of hands that seem to be coming out of the
I don't know if
side.
you've seen B-sides, but we have seen things that look at least as bad.
Maybe you don't know your Thetans the way some of us know.
Some of us are very familiar with the Thetans.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no, that was Stable Diffusion.
Oh my God. Prometheus?
Okay, I'll go AI this time.
Are you?
What are the
I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna say that it's real.
Well, it is AI.
Yeah. I mean, the fingers were the big clue, but I took it.
Well, another
thumbs
thing
on the top of the hand.
Another thing is, would a real illustrator chop off the top of the head like that?
Yes. Well, I was thinking it might be like a frame from a cheesy.
No, I include everything that I get.
No, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. There's I could see this being like a discount sci-fi student film that got used.
No, but anyway.
Oh my God. Sir, we need to talk about your flippers.
Only the strongest sperm reaches the egg first.
But they have to get by Krabby.
Mr. Krabs.
Yes.
This is a light being, according to Stable Diffusion.
Yes.
That's why it's dark.
I did not ask for the holder of the ovum.
Yeah. Mr. Krabby.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Real
I lied.
astral
Don't go
projection.
into the light. Go into the dark.
This is why Nightcrawler can only teleport into a place that he's seen before.
Yes.
Otherwise, you end up in a desk.
We need to get that transporter fixed on the retrofitted Enterprise.
I cannot do it.
Man.
Never let Cliff Roberts operate the
The transporter, yeah, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I think you sussed that one out. Anyway, I think we have some actors coming up next.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
She's acting like that doesn't hurt. Woof. AI.
We need to talk to the prosthetics department about the fake teeth. It's just not really pulling it off. The Bubba teeth you bought at the truck stop is not convincing, sir.
Well, women used to wear their earrings on their throat. I think
Yeah,
that was pretty popular back in the day.
Look. You got to protect our precious earlobes, so you just pierce the neck.
Is that a frog amulet she's wearing?
Oh, I'm sure it is. That may very well be a 6-head.
Oh, lady.
Well, remember, it doesn't have to be the real actress, Jacqueline Scott. It could be just a Jacqueline Scott.
We control the horizontal and the vertical, and we need to, take back the controls. That's
like Brundle wife. Someone went through the teleporter.
Yeah.
Well, I've been hearing
she dreamed she was an actress, but that dream has ended.
I've been hearing that high foreheads are popular these days.
Well, the eyes need to be on the sides of the heads, like herbivores.
I actually like a great forehead on a lady, but this is not a great forehead. This is
hydrocephaly is what that is.
Yeah, this is definitely a condition.
Yeah, that would be AI. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! It is the Prometheus thing. It's in her eye.
Oh, she's got goat irises.
Yeah, that's that right eye. You need to have that looked at. Those black goo worms are going to be a problem for you real soon.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's AI.
Yeah, I don't think she would have let her photo be taken with her hair in that condition.
I don't think she realized she was having her photo taken with those eyes.
The weird patchiness of the lighting around her chin is like super distracting.
Alrighty.
Oh, hey,
Carol.
Carol. That's a 1.
She looks far more pleased in this picture than what we've seen.
Yes. Yes, indeed. This would be the real Jacqueline Scott. And last but not least, changing up the age here. Could this be a young Jacqueline Scott?
Yes.
Well, let's see. I was alive when sepia tone was very popular. Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
This is actually AI.
Really?
Whoa!
Because the hair I was looking at was like, it's convincing enough.
It was convincing, but I did wonder why it was the same style as she has in the episode. But otherwise, that looks pretty good.
You stick with the classics.
Yeah,
her neck isn't pierced. What more do you want?
Not yet.
Although she does have striations at the base, it looks like somebody strangled her.
Yeah, it's always good to just examine and not be too quick to answer because sometimes it can be pretty good.
Yeah, that one works for me. That's pretty good.
And now, how about Jacqueline Scott in the 90s or something like that? And
she wants to sell me a bungalow or something.
Yeah, I will not buy your timeshare, Carol.
I wouldn't even know if it's the same as Jacqueline's. Well, actually, no, it can't be because it is AI.
That one's not bad either.
No.
I'm going to include her on my sales team staffing page.
She's doing that thing the kids do where they shave a little line in their eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
That was where the lobotomy
started,
so.
All right. Is this Lee Phillips?
It's definitely not Carol.
No. No. We are now on to Lee Phillips.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say real.
Okay, it is a real person, but this happens to be Carl Hammer Jr.
Of Uplifting Entertainment.
Of the Hammer Corporation.
Of the Hammer Films.
Because I did search for photos of Lee Phillips, and this came up. And I looked in the caption, it said Carl Hammer Jr. And I'm like, that's not what I typed in at all.
That's what you get.
But it is a real person. So that's good. All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, my
God.
Goodness. What have they done to my boy?
I'd love to be the TV series.
I love the hair.
Yeah, is he going to distend his jaw and eat a mouse?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Oh, yeah. Brought it up for all of us.
Yeah, the chin is a little bulgy.
No, it's mostly the eyes.
Those weird waveforms.
The reptilian eyes that he has from
the wrinkles next to his eye on the side. It's just like, what is going on, buddy? It looks like Edgar from Men in Black. His skin suit's slipping off.
So that is not Lee Phillips. That is AI generation. How about this one?
I went to high school with this guy.
He was still in high school? Or?
Yeah, he looked just like that. I mean, it was his 5th time trying to graduate.
At least he wasn't a shop teacher or something.
No, I mean, if we could see his hands, we could figure it out.
I'm going to say AI. The hair doesn't make sense to me.
I've met people with that haircut, mostly asking me for change, but you know,
they're asking you riddles on a bridge.
Well, there's that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's AI, and if it's real, that man needs to see someone about a lot of things.
It is AI.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ask your doctor if having your portrait taken is for you.
Yeah, yeah. Man, Sears has really gone downhill with their portraiture. God, I think I worked with this guy at one time. I'm going to say that he is AI. Or he has a glass eye. It's one or the other.
Look, babe. I'm going to say AI because the lighting under his chin does not look right at all.
Which chin?
Okay.
Yeah, any of them.
Oh.
Pick one.
Well, you are both correct. And then finally with Lee Phillips.
Hey.
Is this the real McCoy?
It looks like the real Lee.
Well, just interesting points about Lee Phillips. He also starred in a couple episodes of The Twilight Zone. And something called Peyton Place.
Oh, Peyton Place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're just that much younger, aren't you? But you don't know Peyton Place.
The real
I've heard
Peyton.
of it, but Alrighty. So is this a real radio or AI?
No, one moment.
Uh-oh. Amelia has something to say.
Were all of those the same man? As far as you know. I mean, once he got on the meth, things went down. It didn't work out well.
Carl Hammer was the first man. I just included that because it came up in a Lee Phillips search. And I like to just throw some fun out there. And then the rest were AI except for the last one who was Lee Phillips.
I'm going to say that's AI.
Yeah, that radio does look AI.
Well, here's something. It could be. Because I found the photo on Brave Search.
Well, the knobs.
So it was not created by Stable Diffusion.
The knobs look like the nipples on someone that's had a really bad boob job.
Yeah, the perspective is off on the knobs, if you'll pardon my French. And then the reflections on the side of the cabinet don't make any sense at all.
It looks like it has AM, FM, shortwave 1, shortwave 2.
Yeah, that's what
maybe
got me
even
at
something
first,
else.
that it had so many bands on it.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was real, but no.
And are those playback controls? We're just stuck
Pause,
on there.
fast forward.
No, you have OS, LW, KW, MW, LKW. I mean, this might actually be real. It's just one that's been abused.
It looks like clip art that's like been smashed together, like from several different radios. Like the grill was from one thing, the knobs are from something else.
Well, also like the grill cover has like phantom holes in it that allow the grill to show through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Philetta was ever. I know Phillips was the thing.
Philetta.
Yeah, that's the name underneath the.
That's the
controls.
Filipino knockoff brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be hodgepodge. The answer is I don't really know, but I have a feeling it wasn't quite right. And then the one that I used on the cover, would this be a real?
That's a Crosley.
Yeah.
That looks legit.
Did you happen to catch the episode of one of the specials from Grand Tour where James May actually had to drive a Crosley
with
vehicle?
with the stamped metal engines.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like, well, we make refrigerators, we might as well make cars. Okay. And yeah, the engine is made out of stamped sheet metal that's been brazed together.
Yeah, and the refrigerators were bigger.
Yeah. And certainly more reliable and probably had more horsepower.
So anyway, So yeah, this is an actual image that I did find. I didn't generate it.
I will say that one does look like kind of a concept drawing, whether it's AI or not. I think we have a Crosley retro turntable or radio in the living room.
The brand got bought.
Yeah,
and
but
now
it
just churns stuff out. But no, I mean, there's a lot of old Art Deco going into Streamline Modern that has that design.
It's a beautiful piece either way.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, in this, it doesn't have to be an actual functioning radio. Maybe somebody put together like a CD player and just made it have the outside.
I guarantee that's an old school Crosley.
Okay. I'd like to find one. So anyway, how about this?
Well, you can knit or
Combination
you can listen to radio.
dream catcher.
Yeah,
Yeah,
electronic dream catcher.
You know, you put the music up and then the radio plays it. Yeah, that. I mean, there was a time that I don't know, that has to be like something new that someone, if it's real, it's kit bashed. But my guess would be it's AI.
Well, then it must be kit bash because I did find this. I think this one was actually Google search because I was surprised when I found it.
Yeah, the corners are awfully hard, and those corners, you know, the brass pieces they use, those are more in line with like use for steamer trunks and stuff like that.
Yeah, the fittings are odd,
but it is not AI unless Google's starting to use that too.
Again, I mean, image search is getting polluted with a lot of BS, but
yeah, man. But
I would love to have one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have the Crosley.
Yep, and then
that looks like an old Philco.
It's weird that there's not a brand name on the front.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I'll say. Oh wait, I'll say real. It's missing a knob. The stains on the speaker cloth look fairly legit.
Yeah, the speaker cloth hasn't decided to show up elsewhere where it shouldn't belong. The corners are properly bashed, which is where you'd see wear on something like that.
it is a proper search engine response.
Yeah.
So, and that's all we have. There were at least no intentional AI productions here, because believe you me, when I started asking for pictures of radios, I was like, these aren't even close. And I think there might be a reason as to why those that are feeding AI information maybe aren't,
You probably have to you just can't go show me radio, right? You'd have to give it a specific era. And then, because what it'll try and do is just kit bash everything from all the eras of radio.
From all the radios. Yeah.
Why does it have a Sony LED display on a console style radio?
With a walnut finish.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. I think Animal Intelligence overall did win that one. Only a couple of.
I feel like our Animal Intelligence is slipping in the stats, though.
Not that bad. I haven't been keeping track. I'd have to watch these things again to see.
God, who would do that?
Can you imagine?
God.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too into listening to myself. Again.
I mostly don't want to listen to other people.
Now, I just want to make sure here. This is, I believe, I think we are on the correct one. Okay, good. So now, where we left off, Carol is kind of upset they're not getting the right power, and she finds her husband, working with cables and sound waves, and she's
in a compromising position right now.
And she's not too happy about it. She basically had left, and And he notices his aquarium seems to be filling up with a little bit of fog.
Oh, another snail died.
Oh, no.
jeez.
And this is why the TV monitor needed to have some space in it, because what's that? What's that coming out?
No, it's definitely not Tokyo he tuned into.
A London calling. Oh my God.
It wasn't as abrupt as the slides show it. It was actually a pretty good
Transition and phases.
yeah.
That's a cool effect.
And I don't know. I really liked the appearance of the Galazy Being, who I think for our purposes we should call Pat. Good,
Because we don't know what gender it is.
Yeah, and they may not even have gender out
Well,
there.
that's true.
Or sex, biological sex.
Well, much like Sparky here, who's probably not going to have sex for quite some time, given the look on
Yeah.
his wife's face.
And they kind of do some eyeing back and forth, and the conversation is kind of like, do you hear me? Do you see me? That kind of stuff at first.
Habla Inglés.
Touch me, feel me.
Yeah. And apparently speaking in the microphone helped.
Well, I've certainly found that to be the case.
Well, he is broadcasting. Remember that thing in the aquarium's not really there. It's a projection, kind of. And there it kind of looks more like a projection, which is pretty cool. In fact, it is a projection, I think.
Yeah, it actually is being projected.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Later. Well, you'll see what happens.
This is why projection TVs didn't last. That's why we went to...
Well, I mean, the picture looks good to him, but if you're watching from the side, it's
any
all
angle
out of
it
whack.
screws it up. Yeah.
Colors start separating.
Yeah.
But you only see a vertical line on the side panel right now, but throughout this, it was like transforming into other waveforms and stuff. So they had like projections on the side as well. So far,
it's certainly better than B-sides, Amelia.
This is better than the Acolyte. Oh, I think she's talking about this episode, not us.
Oh no, it's very, very clearly about the episode.
And he's kind of looking up, looking around and stuff. And definitely, I do recommend it. I've seen some of the Outer Limits on YouTube for free.
Oh, it's great. It's a great TV series.
And there you see the sound wave on the left panel of the projector. So they did a great job with it.
Yeah.
And, well, they're just talking about things, and then that white flash there is because of, I don't know. I just wanted to show that they were kind of like flickering the lighting in the room and from the screen, so at some points it did go white.
That depends, Amelia. Do you want him to speak, or you like the strong silent type?
Well, we do have, here's the thing. We do this because I don't know if playing it is going to work, playing the actual episode. I don't know. I'd probably go to B-sides jail. And so we do this.
That's pretty rough in there. I mean, you got to be able to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm. And the guy is actually looking around. The Galazy Being, or Pat, is looking around. Oh. And Sparky's like, I don't know. I think I need to connect this XLR cable a little bit better.
Yeah. I shouldn't have bought these cheap Amazon cables.
Yeah. And so he did that, and now he's getting better communication. After twiddling a few knobs. And,
that's much better.
Yeah. You're coming in better, Pat.
Yeah. Shame about that acne.
Yeah.
And then behind, of course, you have the obligatory analog tape machine.
with paper.
Oh, yeah. And
He's printing off CVS receipts back there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm digging the rack there.
Gonna need those blinking lights.
Oh, they do blink. And there's an intercom because now he starts hearing the being speak. I mean, good thing it was equipped with English. He did tell it that you need to connect with my computer through binary code.
As one does.
Yeah, and then it started talking. So we see the number 3 here. So this is where, on earworms, we do some earworming.
Are you?
My name is Alan Maxwell. I am transmitting from a station on the third planet in the solar system, Earth.
Are you receiving dimensional image?
I am scanning the microwaves coming from somewhere beyond the constellation of Pegasus.
Hold chart, hold image universe.
Okay.
KVI is located on Highway
Whoops.
601.
Oh,
just 6 miles.
no.
You have life.
Oh, damn. I'm playing them all.
Gutbush.
All right, there we go. So that's their first communications. And I love the kind of like wooden wind chimes that they have there in the background.
Yeah.
I like the voice effect. The first thing that jumps out at me is that it probably doesn't look like a Pegasus to this guy from the other side of it. It's probably a constellation of a teddy bear or a
Also,
hat or a
you're not
brooch.
exactly narrowing things down.
Well, he points it out on the map.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, you tricked me. Luke
Also-
Skywalker is here.
Never give your information, your location information to alien beings. What are you doing?
Well, he's a little naive. And
Yeah, Psyche, I think you're right. I think it is ring modulation they're using.
yeah, it sounds like ring modulation to me. Which is a form of amplitude modulation for anyone playing the home game. As long as you get the rate of modulation on the amplitude fast enough, you start
What
hearing.
was your mother's maiden name?
Yes.
Well, I think he also spoke in a voice like that too, to help things along.
Well, it's just like the Daleks that you have to like over enunciate to be able to pull off a good Dalek voice with a ring modulator.
Yeah, and yeah, he's just kind of like. And then he's trying to track where this guy is. He's broadcasting to the Pegasus system, but it turns out the Galazy Being, or PAT, is from Andromeda, or the Andromeda Galaxy. So it's intergalactic communication, not even just interstellar. And I just wanted to show that, yes, they were able to make these things light up.
Oh, I thought you were going to cue up the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. That's a lot of fuses, man.
And yeah, so they showed the intercom and the microphone, so you know that they're communicating at a long distance using some pretty funky
we
radio
needed to
waves.
talk about those distances and how this doesn't actually work, but
Yeah, well, radio waves are part of the light spectrum, and
there's some sort of upper speed limit for light, and
yeah.
Andromeda
And
Galaxy's a bit longer than. Are you receiving? I'll listen in about 50 years and see if you are.
Give me a couple decades for me to answer.
Yeah, I used to have it memorized, but isn't it like the Milky Way galaxy itself is? Oh man, I for some reason 300 comes to mind.
Yeah, it's a few hundred.
And that's light seconds across.
No, it's light years.
Light years. Oh yeah, that's right.
Parsecs.
So, yeah. So, parsecs. We did it in one.
I mean, we're 8 minutes in light minutes from our sun.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
we're
I
being
don't know.
pedantic, but none of the home viewers of this show would have any.
Well, I mean, otherwise the conversation would have taken too long.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, we've only got 2 seasons, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Tune in 2 decades from now as we continue our stunning episode.
You'd be amazed what a flux capacitor could do.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, they're communicating all this stuff. He's talking about smell, taste, sight, the senses. I mean, apart from the obvious flaws in light travel, travel and the speed of light, which radio waves are bound to, it was pretty thoughtful communications. And I do have another number coming up where I am going to play a good amount of the conversation. And, mouth for talking, nose for smell.
So what are you wearing?
Way to shame, Bob here, or Pat, very clearly doesn't have a mouth or a nose.
He got eyes. He's got eyes.
And 1 out of 5 ain't bad on the senses.
And then, well, he was recording this because,
That's one does.
Otherwise, who's going to believe you?
Yeah.
He's going to play it for Carol later. And there we go. So at least they labeled the buttons. That's good.
Yeah.
And still talking to him. I mean, the slides don't do it justice. It is a cool conversation. And there's some close-ups like this one that has the number 4 on it. Those eyes are pretty...
These eyes.
I don't know. Adam, you have some... I think both of you have some experience in visual effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you do this if you wanted to do this?
Well, especially back then, I would just make a very simple sculpted mask, and then because the actor doesn't need to see through there, they just be solid eyes, and you can put washers or anything around over it, and then you flip it to negative.
Yep, you just shoot it and then use the negative.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
want something reflective in the eyes. And...
it could be pantyhose with ping pong balls stuck in it. It could be anything at that point.
And so let me see here. Here we go. Here's the audio clip for this point in the conversation.
Not the same. You are carbon cycle. We are nitrogen cycle.
Where you are, do you have death?
Repeat.
We have end of being. We stop moving, stop breathing, no thoughts, nothing. We call it death.
Death is property of carbon cycle in 3 dimensions. No death in our dimension. Electromagnetic waves go on to infinity.
Do you have life?
Not the same. You are carbon cycle.
Okay, that's where we looped.
We are menstrual cycle.
Yes.
Nitrogen cycle.
Yeah, they're nitrogen.
Wow. So that means like compost and stuff.
Yeah. They build a lot of bombs over
That's
there.
a shame.
Yeah, they're bean based. They're bean beings. Yeah.
But at least they go on forever.
Well, beans certainly seem to at times.
Yes, they do. And so, more talking like that. But yeah, cool looking stuff.
Yeah, I think they got it together pretty well. I mean, it would have been something like that. Alien effect is not something that you would have seen in that year, really. So
Yeah,
it's pretty spooky. The voice effects are pretty good.
All right. Well, this is the end of this group of slides, so we are going to move on to others after one more of our very popular segments.
Will it blend?
It will be,
Oh.
yeah, let's see if this works out. We're going to do a little atomic testing here.
Oh, are we not signatories to the Test Ban Treaty?
Oh, shoot. Hold on here. Yeah, I muted Adam
Hi.
because I'm clicking on shit. And
Oh, I thought that was part of the test.
Yeah, you said atomic
and-
testing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
well,
I went.
and since his avatar is part of this frame, I clicked the wrong thing. Okay, so here we go. Atomic testing.
Oh,
And don't get sweaty, don't get nervous. This is actually one where you can contribute in whatever way you feel. Name 3 fictional weekly radio shows.
man, I got to get my AI search engine up here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bring that up.
I mean, did you
I'm not
listen to
gonna
any?
I'm not going to fool Jay with anything.
Did you listen to any?
Jeez.
And if you want, you can include Coast to Coast AM on that.
Well, that's not fictional.
Some
we're
episodes are.
Wait, are we talking about fictional shows or shows that have fiction?
Well, I didn't want you to just say like Howard Stern.
Yeah, he's talking about radio dramas.
Yeah.
Radio drama.
But not all of them are dramatic. Some of them could be comical.
Okay, so fictional material for the shows.
Yeah.
Mercury Theater.
Oh, tell us about that. For those of us who don't know, like me.
Was a show that Orson Welles was well involved with. Do dramatic shows. Let's see.
Was that after the War of the Worlds broadcast? Or?
Yes, I believe so, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I don't think War of the Worlds was on Mercury Theater, but
No, I don't think it was either.
I know for sure that was a thing that Orson Welles did. I'm not good on the spot. Let me see. Does Car Talk count?
Sure.
Cart.
Yeah.
Oh, God! What was the was another NPR show?
Does
the
that have
old
something
guy,
to do? The Prairie Home Companion.
Prairie Home Companion. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Harrison
one.
Keeler.
Harrison Keeler.
I did enjoy that myself. That was good.
I am getting sweaty. I'm trying not to.
Oh no.
Although, what happened to Garrison Keeler? Wasn't that like some sort of Me Too thing happened?
Yeah, I believe he had some accusations.
Oh,
He did. One more.
well, take care, Amelia. Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, The Moth. The Moth is a show that usually has a lot of. It's like a open mic night on a radio show where amateur people read their writing or recite poetry and things like that. So I'll go with The Moth.
Cool. And Mike Gorley used to listen to Mystery Theater on CBS Radio. And for me, I guess it was definitely, Prairie Home Companion. I know my mother used to listen to, what was it? When she was a girl, it was, I think was it The Dark Shadow or The White Shadow?
Well, there's The Shadow.
Oh, okay.
White
Who
Shadow
knows
is something
what
different.
What darkness lies within men's souls. The Shadow.
The Shadow knows.
Okay, yeah, The Shadow. Okay, that's what she listened to.
Little Orphan Annie.
Wait, fiction? What?
Son of a bitch.
No wonder Daddy Warbucks doesn't answer my fan mail.
Yeah. After you refused to drink your Ovaltine, he went out of business.
Yeah. I was going to mention Little Orphan Annie while we were looking at the alien image with the round eyes.
Yeah.
Well, and that would have been Shirley Temple, right?
No,
This would have been
no.
the radio play.
Oh, not on the radio. Yeah.
It was
Okay.
it was a newspaper cartoon, and then it was radio, and
Yep.
then the movie came out in the 70s, I think.
And then there was one, I think, in the 90s or 2000s.
Probably.
Did they remake? Oh,
Yeah.
they did remake they did remake Annie, but I was thinking maybe 2000s.
Yeah. Well, they kind of blurred together.
Well, we gender swapped her, and
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Little orphan Anakin.
shame he blew up that Death Star.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bit of dialogue that I didn't touch on in our story thus far. When she was visiting the shop, she was like reminding him of a dinner they had to go to. He basically, Maxwell, who we've been calling Sparky, and Alan is what he said his name was, is going to a dinner where the mayor is going to give him a plaque for his achievements in radio and so forth. And she basically said, you're showing up to that dinner or else it's over. And because there's going to be a dinner, Alan and his brother Buddy are going to go to it. So they had to bring in this guy who's called Eddie Phillips. Funny, I remembered his name. And Eddie's going to fill in for the evening and be the DJ for the night. And he's like saying hello to Carol. And he says, here's some of my records in case you want to clear them and stuff. Well, she just says Buddy's on inside. Apparently, he's got to get his records cleared first before they can.
In the parking lot.
Yeah. As one does.
Maybe
Yeah, you want to run them through YouTube about a week before you.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't just show up with that.
Yeah. So anyway, she's like, go ahead. And now she's going back to the workshop, and Alan's in there. And now remember, he's just seen his buddy Pat. And so now he's got some explaining to do, I guess, because he doesn't want to go to this function anymore. And as you can tell, that goes over well.
Oh, yeah.
And no.
There is a consistency in Carol's looks that she gives to Alan.
They've been together a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
The honeymoon has been long over.
And he can't quite explain it to her, I guess.
He could if he played the tape.
Yeah. Well,
if
I
only
guess
he would have recorded it.
Doesn't really want to or something, whatever. But
she's very jealous.
She's a smart cookie, though. She's smart.
Borderline cheating on Carol.
Yeah, emotional cheating, anyway.
She's a smart cookie because she comes up with the idea that she's going to bring everybody there. It's like after the dinner, I'm going to bring everybody over here so they can give you the plaque, and
we can all see your little alien friend.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
Pat to everybody.
I just missed the most recent chat that Psyche flashed up on screen.
Oh, the BBC radio adaptation of The Lord of the Rings is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
For my friend Eraserhead.
Yeah, and Babs mentioned the radio adaptation of Star Wars. I mean, I remember listening to those.
Yeah, I think Liza found a copy of that online, the Lord of the Rings one. Okay.
There is a copy of the Star Wars radio on YouTube.
Yeah, and Empire and I believe Jedi as well.
Ooh.
I
guess
know
we're all going to get a bit thinner.
YouTube will not stop recommending it to me no matter how many times I click it off.
That's because they like to rub public domain stuff in your face.
Probably. Probably.
Well, anyway. So she explains that idea. He's not too pleased because he doesn't want a bunch of mayors and mayors' wives coming over and seeing his workshop.
Seeing how he lives in that little hole. Yeah.
Yeah. And
well, he's embarrassed to show these people in front of Pat.
He agrees to go. So he's going to follow along in the station wagon afterwards. So anyway, here's Eddie Phillips, and basically Buddy's going to pass the torch to him for the night, and he kind of does a little bit of a sound check there, and then we get to hear the great Eddie Phillips, the voice of Los Feliz,
All right.
the Feelies.
Do my brainwaves go on?
Oops, no.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
I'm going to be saying that on the air. We might want to go ahead and check his records
Here he
more
comes.
Are you just
thoroughly.
hearing my internal monologue?
Yeah.
The slim one, Eddie Phillips. Great to have you on board, Eddie boy.
Pleasure to be here, Gene, Buddy Maxwell.
Eddie Phillips will substitute for the next 3 hours, bringing you the best of music from KXKVI, your dancing station, covering Los Feliz and Cotterfield. This is Gene Buddy Maxwell, signing off for now. Please stay tuned for Eddie Phillips' record review. Edward, you've got it.
Many thanks, Gene, and my congratulations to your brother Alan on his testimonial shindig tonight. He's made KXKVI the beacon of the Southwest, and all of you in the Maxwell family deserve a big round of applause. We start off this evening's celebration with a musical salute to the Maxwells. Brother Alan, the electronic wizard, and Brother Gene Buddy Maxwell, your favorite DJ in the desert area. Here we are with the Deuces and the Trays singing Big Time Daddy.
Are you ready?
Is he coming?
Yes, or else. He's going to follow us in the station wagon.
Fine.
I wanted to include a little bit of the Deuces in the Trays.
I appreciate that.
Just about everything they played was like cool jazz.
Yeah. They're very big in the early 60s in the desert. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very big in the stock library.
Yeah.
So anyway, there we go. So they're heading off, and they're going to leave Eddie there to take care of things. And now he's got to tell Pat that I'm going to be gone for a little bit, but you just stay right there.
And I'll text you all through dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would want to leave that?
What expression. So anyway, he's getting ready to go, and he's also, he had to explain to Pat, though. Pat's like concerned about the power and so forth, because here's another thing, and this is something I forgot to mention before. They're both kind of like being a bit of renegades here, because Pat is not supposed to be exploring. It's like apparently intergalactic rules that you're not allowed to make contact with things outside your own galaxy, and especially the Earth, because they have wars there and stuff. And
dirty Earthlings.
So it's one of those things that's been happening in sci-fi, trying to explain the concept that there might be other life forms out there in the universe that wouldn't like us so much if they really got to know us.
That's why you don't broadcast.
Yeah.
Don't get the attention of superior civilizations. It ends badly for you.
Yeah, there's no winning that game.
Well, in this case, it tends to be like, I guess, a little bit more peaceful civilizations, because they don't have wars and stuff. And
that's because they've killed all of their enemies.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have any war anymore.
And that is not the word anger up there. That's the word danger. Or is it badger? No. Danger. Yeah. On the wall.
Danger voltage.
Yeah.
So anyway, he tells Pat, don't worry. I've locked in the power. It's not going to shift at all. And you're going to be safe here. I don't know, just on the monitor, sitting there.
In the tank.
Yeah. Look, I've got the bubbler on. I'll put some food in. You'll be fine.
Yeah. And so he heads off and leaves, and it's a beautiful sunny day in Southern California. And we do have our circular windows, which I do appreciate. And he comes in, and he's checking his dials there in the control room. And Eddie brings up the fact that, you're only putting out like about 30 miles worth. We're supposed to be putting out 100 miles worth. And he's like, and Alan just says, well, I blew some fuses, and the state things are in, you can't boost it. You've got to keep things the same. And he basically says, don't touch this dial. If you see the power go down or things like that, don't touch the dial.
Chekhov's dial.
Exactly. Also, don't hit the self-destruct button.
Right. This big red button, do not put your hand on it.
No, absolutely not.
Uh-huh. Well, Eddie's like, that dial right there.
This one?
This one right here.
Snap.
This one, don't touch it. All right. So anyway, he heads out, and we have our good old shindig like we usually do in black and white television and movies and stuff. Unfortunately, the Three Stooges do not show up to throw cake at people.
That's unfortunate.
That's an oversight.
Marx Brothers were unavailable as well.
But he gets a plaque and gets recognized, by the local community of gentility. And here we got an accordion player along with the other smooth jazz cadets.
The horror.
But it sounded all right. I don't know.
It's an accordion.
So anyway, Buddy is putting some moves on a blonde. And there we go. They're talking a little bit, enjoying themselves. He's
Good on you, buddy.
Yeah, well, he's usually there having to, talk about traffic. And so
he is the biggest DJ in 100 miles.
He's looking for new knobs to turn, I think.
And so it's an interesting juxtaposition. Buddy seems to be doing all right. Unfortunately, Alan, Sparky, Maxwell, and wife Carol don't seem to be doing so great.
They're doing about average, it seems, given this episode.
And she may be doing some smiles there for the other people around, but the conversation's pretty much like, all right, I got my reward, I got my award, and everything like that. I think I should be heading out now. And she says, okay, if you leave me, I'll leave you. And so he's kind of stuck there. And I don't know. They're hitting it off.
I mean, it's a hard choice, with Pat. That's a hot piece of ass.
And he's nitrogen.
Yeah.
And
is she nitrogen based? I don't think so.
I doubt it.
No.
But anyway, Buddy and blonde lady decide, let's go outside and get some fresh air. So they go out into
the back seat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's where the precious air is.
Yeah. And the freshest breath.
Yeah.
Is there
Banaka blast.
There. Cut away to Pat.
Poor Pat's getting jealous.
Yeah, poor Pat's there by himself in the tank. And Eddie's on the phone with his girlfriend. Everybody's, talking to girlfriends and stuff. Eddie has one, and he's telling her that, you're going to be hearing me better soon, because I guess the signal wasn't reaching all that far. She was having a hard time hearing him. And so, don't worry, we're going to touch buttons we're not supposed to touch and boost up. And he's looking at the country. He's getting feelings of domination. He wants to take over the country.
Oh yeah, I'm going to compete with XCR there in Mexico and blow everybody out.
Yeah, and so
his girlfriend's in Canada, so listen.
Yeah. Well, girlfriend in quotes, Canadian.
Yeah, I guess that would be Vex up there.
We've all had that Canadian girlfriend in high school, that.
And so he does what he's not supposed to do, turns up the dial, and wouldn't you know, Buddy notices, because they were listening to their own radio station while making out in the car. It's like, what happened? Because it kind of went some weird sounds.
Pat.
Oh, Pat.
And he's like, oh no.
A topical cream will fix that.
You're giving me a little too much power. Oh,
I have the power.
Unlimited cringe.
And this is, the scene is great because he just starts oozing out of the thing.
Wait till they get a load of this.
Yeah. We've all been there.
And I just try to get a few shots of it. So anyway, yeah, he's out now. So there we go. That's a great way to travel across galaxies. Just set up a fish tank on one side.
I mean, yeah,
Fish tank
you know, more leg room. You know, you don't have to deal with the peanuts and.
Well, the worst part is waiting for someone to set up the fish tank.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
once they do, you're in.
Yeah, then you're in.
So anyway, yeah, he decides he's going to go for a stroll, and it turns out that the wind blows wherever he goes.
Oh.
So he doesn't just go where the wind blows. The wind
Well, he
blows
is nitrogen
where
based.
he
You know, we
goes.
talked about those beans earlier.
Yeah.
You know, there will be a wind.
And
Anyway,
so
the wind blows.
here we go. What the hell?
Is that coming out of Pat?
You know, this goes back to where he comes out of the fish tank. We hear the music in the radio station, and then okay, so
there's a tempest within Pat.
yes.
I think he's having a nitrogen OD here in our atmosphere.
But yeah, that's why they mentioned it, so people would understand. The nitrogen cycle is coming forth. And so Eddie's there wondering what's kind of going on, because things are going a little haywire in the station as well.
Who could have expected this after touching the button that shall not be touched?
Yeah, it's definitely not the knob you touched.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees like a glowing light coming from outside. And the lights are actually flickering and stuff. And these guys notice, all right, there's something wrong. Signal's gone dead. And woof.
Yep. There's a tempest within you now.
Pat has this ability to kind of just blow things.
Whoa. No wonder Alan didn't want to leave.
Won't Carol be surprised?
Yes.
And yeah, Eddie's like, what's that? The window just broke, and there's Pat outside, and you know that's not what he expected. And well, don't miss the little swirls.
Oh yeah, the electromagnetic
swirly
radiations coming.
Yeah, the swirly effects. He does that whenever he wants to kind of like blow things up and stuff. And I wouldn't want to see those eyes. So anyway, back at the party, Buddy comes in and says, you know, this station went down. We're not getting anything. And so he goes out, checks it at the card, as if that'll really help. Say, okay, yeah, we're not getting anything. And then we cut away here to the radio antenna, and if you look closely, there are some dark waves there.
They are, yeah.
I see him.
And there's Pat. He's walking around outside.
It's Pat.
And yeah, so now we get a series of phone calls where the first thing he's going to do is call Eddie, but
Eddie's not available?
Yeah, no. And tries to reach him, drops in a coin, dials on the rotary phone. Oh, I miss those. And there we go. We get
lamps.
Well, this is so the viewer can see that Eddie's probably not available. And Pat's walking around and the trees are blowing. And then he walks out to the road, and there's a car coming. And the people in the car seem to be surprised by some bright object. Don't know what it is. And they kind of like then get a taste of Pat's spiral. See, Pat doesn't like this car coming at him.
Oh, it's understandable.
So he spirals it, and the car goes spiraling. And there you go. Ooh,
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, and then we've gone negative.
Yeah, they like that.
Yeah.
Pat is pissed.
And
Well, I think, first of all, these are clearly poor people given the vehicle they're driving and the year that this is. And I think Pat's perfectly understandable.
Yeah. So anyway, it's time for another phone call because, Eddie didn't answer, so he's going to call Collins. And Collins happens to be some guy on the grounds that we haven't met yet.
Caretaker?
I guess so. He just said he's going to call Collins. And there's Collins. And he's sitting at the desk.
Doing Collins stuff.
We get flashy lights.
Whoa!
Really flashy.
That escalated quickly.
Collins got a gun.
Well, I skipped a little bit of the flashes. It wasn't really doing much. But yeah, he did grab the gun pretty quick because it looked like there was trouble. And
Hello, sir.
What you up to? And
yeah.
He Collins isn't going to take any of that, so he's like firing at the thing. Hopefully it'll work.
No solicitors.
Pat doesn't like that. Pat doesn't like guns, and so he gives them some spiral action. And there we go. He got spiraled.
Oh no!
But fortunately, Collins is not an unlikable character, so he does survive. He survives. It's Eddie.
We haven't had time not to like him, man.
Eddie had to go because he's an unlikable character.
I think the difference is Eddie was not armed. Had he armed himself, he might have had a chance. Collins, he
did bring some pretty crappy records to play.
Yeah. And I have to say, those records were going to be shit for self-defense.
Now, I got this slide right here because after calling around, he knows he's going to have to go over there. So Alan's going to go over there, and Buddy, after Alan leaves, checks the change dispenser on the phone.
Yeah, a few more hours of this, and they're just not going to stand for it anymore.
We used to have to pay for payphones back in the day. And you never know. Maybe it's your lucky day. You might find a quarter in there. So anyway, it's time for our next and final group of slides. Thank you for sticking with us, folks.
No.
Thank you for sticking with us, folks. But, don't worry, Jay. We do have your, what do we call this? We do have your segment.
Ritual?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The,
I should have drank more.
What is this called? Doth it pleaseth the emperor?
No.
That's an advanced no.
Yes.
Well, wait until you find out what it is.
Well, it's a default answer.
Since we're talking about radio stuff, how about this?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, you got an easy one.
Baby, if you ever wondered whatever became of me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP.
Well done.
I barely remember this when I was growing up, but
I remember it very well.
Oh yeah,
watched this a lot.
Is it
you
still...
got Herb Tarlick back there, Les Nessman, the big guy, Venus Flytrap, Bailey,
Dr. Fever,
Dr. Johnny Fever,
and blonde lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her. Oh man,
well, and you got Andy, the
manager,
station manager. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, barely remember it, but now that I'm checking out some things from yesteryear, is it available on YouTube?
So you can get the show. The problem is it's not how it was broadcast because it was broadcast actually using music that was being played on the radio at the time.
Yeah,
and the licensing that they had for that was only for broadcast, not for recording and replay. And so I think they had to put in like Muzak and fake stuff on the.
Well, oddly enough, the movie that the show is based on, which is called FM, is available on YouTube, and they only cut one song out.
Really?
From the very beginning, you can watch the whole movie.
Yeah, the car when he's coming to work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and the rest they left in with, I mean, and the thing was just chock full of music.
Yeah, I don't understand how
Well, I
YouTube
think it's
copyright
because they
works.
were, yeah, it had to be because of the difference in licensing with movie versus because you're recording it.
Well, I guess a lot of the songs that like Linda Ronstadt did on that film probably weren't the biggest hits that she had, although I don't know for sure.
Well, they could be alternate versions.
And they were
listed as a
live.
live show.
Well,
yeah.
they were kind of like mock live versions, and yeah. But no, that was a great movie. It was fun watching that for Independence Day.
I mean, Les Nessman gave us, well, I mean, this is really relevant because it was last week that Chichi Rodriguez died, or as Les called him, Chai Chai Rodriguez.
Oh,
Instead of
God.
Chichi Rodriguez, yeah.
Wasn't that a golfer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Les is announcing, like, you know, golf results or whatever, and then Johnny Peeper comes up and says it's Chichi Rodriguez, and Les then says Mr. Rodriguez.
All right.
Well,
Well,
also,
so,
as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah, that's the most famous episode, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They do a turkey drop. And,
Or the payola episode where the guy brings cocaine, and the big guy thinks it's foot powder.
oh, that's
Puts it in
right.
his socks.
Yep.
all right.
And
Well,
then he's very light on his feet after that.
Indeed, yes.
not that we would ever promote it, but do you think the TV show version is available in
I don't
India?
think so. I mean, unless somebody recorded it, because anything that you would have like nowadays would be somebody bought the box set or whatever, and it's not. gonna
Yeah, it
have
looks like we're looking
You
at-
only would have been able to like record it live with a VCR
Well,
or in syndication.
that's true. Maybe.
So,
Wonder how
someone's
the
got a set of VHS tape somewhere.
All right, folks. So I said it would get a little nostalgic. So now we are. Yeah, next week I'll do a Doth It Pleaseth Adam Gray. And we'll test the Emperor.
The answer is also no.
My favorite part of WKRP is at the very beginning when they're going through the tuning dial, and they get to the news, and the announcer says the senator, while claiming he was not intoxicated, could not explain his nudity.
Yeah, I remember that.
So anyway, here we go. We're going to finish this puppy off. And Buddy's like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm going there. Well, Buddy doesn't know that Pat's there, and Alan does. And Alan's kind of concerned about what Pat must be getting up to. And, and now we have Pat's walk.
Pat's gone shopping.
Yeah, we'll call it his little walk. He makes his way to town. I mean, he's exploring. And he wants to see
Need a
what's
little
up.
something to wear, I think.
Well, I don't know if there's anything to cover up. But we do see outside here, this is the police showing up at Collins's cabin, and they come in.
Collins.
Yeah.
Collins, my God.
He had one of those Acme revolvers.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't say anything. Pretty much, he just shakes and looks like really upset.
He has
doesn't
seen
even-
some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are walking down the street with Pat, and the trash cans getting blown over, the leaves are getting blown away.
My God, littering.
Oh yeah. And then there's some people that happen by in the sidewalk, and they like, what the hell's going on? And then we just see them kind of run away and stuff. And Alan's, going back to the scene of everything to see what's going on. And eventually it makes his way over to Collins's cabin, and that's where he finds him in a real state. And so
Uh-oh.
meanwhile, Pat's walking around, and
We're blowing the doors off.
Yep, and he's huffing and puffing, blowing doors down.
He wants a saxophone.
Well, it seems like a curios shop because none of these instruments looked playable. They just look like they're hanging there as ornaments. And But, he's curious, so they have a shop of curios. And, that's not like a usable ukulele or there. So anyway, we're going through, and he lights up some goggles or whatever the hell they are, binoculars, lights them up with his nitrogen vision, and we proceed forward. I mean, it was a pretty cool sequence, just seeing him going through the shop, just wondering what things are. And
what's this? What's this?
Yeah, that's basically what he's
We
doing.
don't have Tupperware on our planet.
But exiting always has to be a production. We see the window light up, and then boom.
They have doors on your planet?
Funny, yeah. Funny how everything in the shop is fine, but...
I'm starting to think that Pat's a bit of a drama queen.
Yeah. Leaving. And let's see, more walking around. Okay, yeah, Carol's kind of upset because Alan left. And
she should be happy at this point.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't know, but Alan decides, he decides to come back. He runs in because he's worried about, Carol at this point, not just getting in trouble, but, his friend is on the loose. So he comes in and, Pat decided to make an appearance here. He's trying to get Carol out, and everyone turns their heads because they hear and all that stuff. And we could see one couple there doesn't seem to be bothered yet. They didn't get the memo, but the others are looking in that direction. And then everything goes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And in case you can't see, that is Alan and Carol there in the center. And I don't know, after a while you get tired of just seeing these eyes.
I mean, I think that I think we're seeing Pat's jealousy coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like
if color was invented, he'd be seeing red.
Oh yeah.
And that's
but in
Carol,
a cast of green.
That's Carol getting all fainty because she didn't like what she saw, and he's putting out spirals, or it is putting out spirals. They are putting out spirals, whatever.
It's just
yeah, and
Carol, use your disgusted face. It's our only defense. Oh yeah, no.
He tried to explain it to her, but she,
she wasn't hearing it.
Yeah, and he tells Pat, "All right, we got to head back to the station." And hopefully the guy can hear without the microphone. So people are leaving, and these are people loading some, I don't know, I guess it's at the party. Yeah, they're pretty much loading
probably
some
Carol.
People in. No, he carries Carol all the way back to the station.
Well, that's nice of him.
And Buddy's there because they hear about the crash on the road. And all these things are going on, and Buddy's like, Alan's, heading back to the station, I guess. And look at my hands. This is, what Pat did. And
do you moisturize?
Doesn't look good.
Look, maybe you should take a day off of masturbation.
So anyway, that's that. Poor hand model. And, so now they're walking back. He's carrying Carol, and then Pat's following behind.
What a creep!
And they get there, and he basically lays her down. Pat comes in, and she takes one look at.
She's gonna pass right the fuck out again.
Yeah. No, she decides. She's going to crawl out. She sees that, and then she's going to crawl out.
Oh,
and he's
she's
like,
out.
He's trying to stop her from crawling out, and all this
over all the
debris.
broken glass.
Well, yeah. Also, at least take off your shoes. I mean,
not a good strategy. She's not smiling there. That's.
Well, we haven't really seen her smile genuinely this entire episode.
And there we go. He's not happy. And so anyway, I forget what happened. Yeah. He's got to get a speaker. He's got to get a speaker.
Yeah. We're going to need a bullhorn.
because we're going to need to talk to Pat better now. And so he gets the speaker, and here come the police, and
They should be effective.
they're going to make things better.
Yeah.
As always.
Oh, thank goodness. The police.
And so that's there. And then, after a little bit, they start talking, and Pat explains that, they know now that I was exploring and I shouldn't have been. And so they're going to destroy me. So I guess it's a kind of harsh punishment for exploration.
Well, he did trash a town. I mean,
Also,
he's
he
not talking
let
about
the
the-
universe know we're out there. That means everybody else is going to notice us and come calling.
Well, no, he's not talking about the humans. He's talking about whatever his people are.
Yeah, but his
yeah,
people are
he
like,
did
dude.
trash a town.
Also, dude, you just let the universe know we're out here. You need to stop that because then they will come calling.
Yeah, from both sides.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with their fish tanks. So anyway, speakers and recording and lights and all this beautiful stuff. And so, Pat explains that situation, and Carol doesn't seem, I mean, she feels sorry for him and so forth. So basically the police are here, and they got their bullhorns out, and cut away to the station where they find Eddie, and he's not,
Eddie.
poor Eddie, the voice of Felix is dead, and blonde girl screams. That was her main function.
I think it's great that he brought her back to the station when there's obviously something wrong going on.
Well, Buddy wasn't going to let it ruin his evening.
Yeah, Buddy has a much larger plan in motion at this time.
Sweep up this glass, and I'll take you back to my place.
Exactly.
Could you please come to the station? We need you to scream.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Every time I see that face, it's just like...
I love it.
Oh, whoa. Hey, this escalated quickly.
Yeah, well, they're militarizing the police. So, yeah, and Carol and Alan hear the bullhorn outside, so she decides she's going to go out. Well, actually, Alan did recommend it, which is a dumb idea. Why don't you go out there and explain things to them?
Run out there quickly and wave at all those guns.
Yeah. Make sure you use your scowly face.
And that's where this guy does, he sees the girl running out of the, let's shoot her.
Good thing they didn't have a dog.
As one does, yeah.
And so she gets hit. Alan picks her up, takes her in, and Pat takes a look at her, and Pat says, I can save her. And he's like, what? And Pat says, yeah, I can save her. What do you call it? I'm summarizing. But anyway, yeah, there she is. She's got something wrong with her neck, basically bleeding and so forth. And he cauterized the wound, basically. And this is where Lee Phillips actually does say, cauterize? Yes. I'm going to cauterize her.
Oh.
I
Is that
cauterized.
what the kids are calling it these days?
I cauterized in high school, but now she's sick of me.
Yeah. But
These are the jokes.
And they really like going negative. And so there we go. She's repaired.
Didn't even stain the dress.
There I picked
Great
it.
job.
I know, yeah. And they're still out there. And so there's got to be a different approach now. And Alan
Bang.
says, wait a second. And they're saying, come out with your hands up. Well, actually, kudos to the guy on the left who did, in fact, kind of shoot her the first time. Because the other guys were saying, no, we just got to blow the whole place up. He's like, no, not if there's a man in there. So
A woman,
somewhat.
yes.
Yeah, a
Man,
woman.
no.
You get rid of those.
Yeah, well,
For God's sakes, we're the patriarchy. We have to save the man.
yeah, it's the military guys that kind of just want to destroy the whole thing. And he's like, nope, not if there's a man in there. And so he gets out the bullhorn and says, come out. And Alan says, no, I'm not coming out. Pat's going to explain things to you. And Pat
This
comes
will work
out.
well.
Well, I mean, they do have a bit of a response. Pat's got the spirals, and they got the guns, and so it's guns versus spirals.
I mean, I'm gonna have to vote for spirals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with spirals.
Yeah.
Well, nothing really happened to anybody. It was just cool effects.
Oh, thank goodness.
But the intercom, or the speaker here, is now broadcast, I guess, to the universe or something. Or basically, what's his name? Pat gives a speech. And let me see here if I have that speech.
Latu, Verada, Nikto.
Let's see here. Ice.
You stupid humans.
Increase.
Don't run. We are your friends.
Oh, power increase. Yeah, I did power increase. I did, too late. Let me see here.
Waited for you. Power came on full. Microwave transmission caught me. No way to stop. No way to get out. Transmission of atomic structure. Transmission of mass.
Can you get back?
Too late. They know I have broken laws. They must destroy me.
Okay, so that I missed earlier. That's his "they're going to destroy me" speech. Now here's what's now. Yep, there we go. That's right about here.
Stop, all of you. Be silent. You people of this planet, you must not use force. You do not move. I do not see you, but I receive your brain pattern. I have told you not to use force. Now I warn you, there are powers in the universe beyond anything you know. Fire!
Yep, and that's it. There are powers in the universe beyond anything you know.
And that's why you shut the hell up and don't broadcast.
Yeah, and so this is their response. They just kind of stare at him. And, and there we go. There's a speaker that broadcasts that. Well, then, I don't know why, but I guess part of Pat's plan is just to destroy himself somehow. And that
those people are
includes-
going to destroy him anyway, even though don't use force. We're all peaceful, except for the people who are going to destroy me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, he's going to destroy himself and the radio tower. So he puts out spirals, and the radio tower buckles and buckles, and everybody's wondering why. He's just looking at it because he was told by the director, just look up.
Well, I mean, so you can tell who has had sex and who hasn't, right? The ones that are like, "What's going on?" They haven't had sex. These guys are like, "Yep, that's generally how it ends." Yep, the tower comes down.
Yeah, kind of folds over. And...
Yeah.
There we go. And it blows up, and
booms.
And then we have knowing glances.
He's not getting a second date.
No. He's busy trying to explain how his tower won't come down.
And they decide they're going to walk off. Everyone just kind of leaves like,
oh, well, another day in Los Feliz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Well, okay. He didn't destroy himself yet. He's going to do that now after some dramatic words back and forth. And there he goes. He just disintegrates.
Bye-bye.
Chosen disintegration. And there we go. Everyone walked away. Carol lets him put his arm around her again. So we get the idea that maybe things will get better. And then we get the message that we are returning your television to your control again.
Yep.
Hooray!
Yes. And who the hell's that? Burt Metcalf. They just put it right there at the top of the cast.
Oh yeah.
Burt Metcalf.
Yeah.
Who does he play? All right. In case anyone's interested, there's the other actors.
Well, I mean, Psyche, to be fair, that Twilight Zone episode is one of the greats.
It's in the top 3 of Twilight Zones. Yeah.
Well, William Shatner kind of like also is.
I mean, the one I love is the woman that's cleaning the house and has a problem with the small invader.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna be getting to them. By the time I'm done, we'll have done all the Twilight Zones
And the
all
most
that.
spoiled child, which is also a classic Twilight.
Oh
Zone.
yeah.
Dominic. Yes, and John Nicholas. Any relation to Jack Nicholas? Yep, there we go. So just other names that for people to know for posterity's sake. And, oh, look at that.
House of Stefano.
Yes.
A Willard Stefano production. In association with Daystar Productions. A lot of productions going on. United Artists.
Oh,
in
yeah.
fact, got it
There
in
you
there.
go.
And that's the end.
It is.
That's it. Sorry, folks, if it was a little long tonight. But this was an hour-long episode as opposed to the Twilight Zone half hours.
Yep.
And, yeah.
We had a lot more time for character development, I think, and they're all fleshed out fully, especially Collins.
Yeah.
Couldn't even be brought in for a cup of coffee in the first act, but
I mean, the hero we need, but we don't deserve, Collins.
No. Oh, man.
Collins has a 1,000-watt stare now.
Yeah.
He did some pretty good acting, though, where he just had to look like he was, like, scared shitless. I mean,
Yeah, he had a 1,000-yard stare.
Yep. All right, folks. I think I'm running out of brain power, and so we may be saying goodnight. Well, we are saying goodnight to everybody here.
Good night.
Good night. Anybody want to say anything? Like you have a late night gig?
Yeah, I'll
Jay,
be on
don't you?
Gooch's stream in about 45 minutes, so I got that going for me.
Yeah, I'm going to hand you the baton after doing Mr. Brown's. So.
Yeah.
Who's
run with it?
How do people find Gooch? In case
It's Desolate Souls.
Desolate Souls.
Yeah.
J Desolate Souls Productions presents.
Yes. DSP.
Yes. That's it.
Well,
I'll see if I can.
I tease him about being dark side pills.
Oh, so that's what DSP is.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me see if I can get the link up here before we sign off.
Yeah, Desolate Souls Productions. So,
Eraserhead, you're gonna get. He'll kick you for that.
What?
It used to be Diabolical Souls, and I think there was an issue.
Oh.
I like Desolate Souls.
And I know not of this Gooch of which you speak.
Oh, Gooch is a great guy.
He is a wonderful YouTuber.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check it out at some point. I think we're going to be doing some eating after this, though.
Well,
that sounds great.
So yes, and what is it that they do?
Gooch normally does animation blocks on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
A lot of comics, a lot of animation.
Yep. On Sunday, he brings in number of guests that kind of regulars. We have Angry Badger, and then I think our special guest tonight is Scooby, who those who hang in those areas will know is a very good mod.
Okay. All right, folks. So check that out afterwards. If you're hearing us on the rewind, just look up Desolate Souls.
No, Diabolical Souls.
Diabolical Souls.
Oh, it really is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
changed it.
Yeah, it used to be Desolate. Yeah.
Well,
That's the problem. Is
why are
don't
you
name
guys
change.
doing this to me?
Why did he do it to me? I don't know. I just know that.
Ask Gooch.
Yeah.
I can only hold 3 facts
Look,
at one time.
I know we're both named Jay, but we are not the same. He is Canuckastanian.
I thought Diabolical Souls was the old one and the wrong one, and someone will beat me up for it.
I don't know anything. Ask the kids.
All right, so it's Diabolical Souls. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us. Great to see you again, Eraserhead and Mike Gorley and all the other folks that have been with us tonight.
Yes, thank you, chat.
Yes.
Yes, thanks for hanging in there. I know sometimes I can be a little bit stunted. But
Go get a sandwich, Flores.
I'm going to get better. All right.
It's that damned aquarium we keep you in.
All right, folks. Well, thank you all and have a good night. Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Go to
Thanks,
bed.
everybody.